Hey guys, what's going on? James here. I'm going to be having this small clip at the start of every single one of my videos leading up to this event. It is the first ever meetup kind of event that I am going to be doing ever for the MrBucsNation community. Is the MrBucsNation Game Watch meetup. You guys see it up here in the top left of your screen. Buccaneers versus Rams, September 29th. 4:05 p.m. at Buffalo Wild Wings on 4075 Park Boulevard North in Pinellas Park, Florida. If you guys are interested in going to the event and you want to RSVP, please send an email to MrBucsNation@gmail.com and let me know how many people you want to be going to the event, just so I can keep a tally of how many people are going to be going to the event. But without further ado, guys, I hope you all enjoy the video. I want to talk to you guys about a situation that's going on down in Miami. So in week 1, the Miami Dolphins lost to the Baltimore Ravens 59-10. A very, very bad loss. Supposedly, after that game, Miami Dolphins players were calling up their agents and saying, "Get me out of Miami. I do not want to be a part of this sinking ship of a team." One of those players supposedly happens to be Minkah Fitzpatrick. Now, the Dolphins may or may not trade Minkah Fitzpatrick, but right now it's expected that they are going to be asking for a first-round draft pick, but they would more likelier than not settle for a second-round draft pick. So, should the Buccaneers try and trade for Minkah Fitzpatrick? We're going to talk about that in this video, so let's talk about it. Now, Minkah Fitzpatrick was the 11th overall pick in the 2018 NFL draft. He was literally drafted last year. That should just kind of go into, or say something huge about the situation that's going on in Miami right now. Things are really not looking good for that team for the rest of this season, considering that they're really thinking about trading their first round draft pick from last year's draft. I mean, the Arizona Cardinals did that, but I don't think the Miami Dolphins should do that. That's not a good look at all. But he was the 11th overall pick in the 2018 NFL draft. Fun fact, I'm actually 2 days older than Minkah Fitzpatrick, so that's definitely fun for me. He was picked right before Vita Vea in the 2018 NFL draft. The Buccaneers had pick number 7. They traded back with the Buffalo Bills, moved back to pick number 12. The Miami Dolphins had pick number 11. They selected Minkah Fitzpatrick, and then with the next pick, the Buccaneers selected Vita Vea. Now, one of the biggest compliments to Minkah Fitzpatrick, not only in Alabama, but also the reason why he was such a highly touted first round draft pick. A lot of people thought that he even could have went in the top 5, top 10, but one of the biggest selling points on Minkah Fitzpatrick is his versatility. So far up to this point in Miami, Minkah Fitzpatrick has played free safety, strong safety, linebacker, slot corner, and outside cornerback. So it's really safe to say that Minkah Fitzpatrick, he's a very versatile guy, former top 15 draft pick, really could have been a top 10, or maybe even if you want to stretch it far enough, a top 5 draft pick in last year's draft. And the guy can really go, okay? The guy can really go. Whenever he plays slot cornerback, he's one of the best slot cornerbacks in the league. And whenever he plays free safety, at least, he does a really good job with that as well. Not so much strong safety or linebacker or even outside cornerback, but I will tell you right now that Minkah Fitzpatrick, he can play slot cornerback really well, and he can also play free safety as well. If you guys want to figure out a little bit more information on Minkah Fitzpatrick, I'll actually link a video down in the description of this video going to a colleague of mine, K Flexen. He's a Miami Dolphins YouTuber. I highly suggest you watch the video that I've linked down below. It talks a lot about Minkah Fitzpatrick and the current situation going on in Miami right now. Highly recommend you check out that video for more info on Minkah Fitzpatrick. Given all the information I just gave you guys, should the Buccaneers be one of the teams involved in a Minkah Fitzpatrick trade? If you want my opinion, I'm always a sucker for trades. So yes, I'm gonna of course say yes. Go for it. Why not? Why do I say yes? Well, the first things first is that if Miami is really expecting a first round draft pick, but they're willing to settle on a second round draft pick, I would give up a second round draft pick in a heartbeat for a guy like Minkah Fitzpatrick. Even back in last year's draft preview videos and talking about all the draft prospects the Buccaneers could draft, I was a big fan of Minkah Fitzpatrick. I thought that it was pretty, possible that he could end up on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was a very versatile player at Alabama, 2-time national champion. That's freaking insane. But the guy was a very versatile playmaker in Alabama. He did such a good job playing in the slot cornerback role there, and he did a really good job playing safety as well. And whenever you translate that into the NFL, he just continues to improve and look good in both of those roles. So I think if you bring him onto a team like a Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you put him in a Todd Bowles defense, which so far up to this point through 2 weeks has looked absolutely insane. I believe they've only allowed 1 touchdown in 2 games. If you had a former first-round draft pick with limitless potential, like a guy like Minkah Fitzpatrick, that would just take this defense to another level, and you would have an all-star playmaker at least for the next 4 years. He's still going to be on his rookie contract. He's also going to have the 5th-year option as well. So I think that just for that reason alone, you heavily consider this move. Looking real quick at the cornerbacks and the safeties that the Buccaneers have, at the cornerback position, you have Vernon Hargreaves III, Carlton Davis, Sean Murphy-Bunting, Jamel Dean, and MJ Stewart. And then at the safety position, you have Mike Edwards, Jordan Whitehead, Darian Stewart, and Andrew Adams. Now, here's the situation that I envision in my head if the Buccaneers were to trade for Minkah Fitzpatrick is all the cornerbacks stay the same. I don't think that you would play Minkah Fitzpatrick at cornerback. Doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense, especially considering how many former first and second round draft picks you have in that group right now. Vernon Hargreaves III, he's a former first round draft pick. Carlton Davis, Sean Murphy-Bunting, MJ Stewart, former second round draft picks, and then Jamel Dean, a former third round draft pick. The thing where it gets interesting here is the safety position. Now, we all love Jordan Whitehead. Jordan Whitehead, he's absolutely phenomenal. I actually ran into Jordan Whitehead and Carlton Davis at Tampa International Mall today, so shout out to them. But, you know, Jordan Whitehead, he's a phenomenal safety. He's been doing so good these first 2 weeks. He's been an absolute tackling monster. That's not where I'm interested in putting Minkah Fitzpatrick, because Jordan Whitehead, he can play strong safety. But what about free safety? That's where I think things get a little bit more interesting. Yes, the Buccaneers have Mike Edwards, and yes, we all love Mike Edwards. We think that Mike Edwards is going to do an absolutely phenomenal job. But hear me out here on this one, okay? The chance to upgrade to Minkah Fitzpatrick, you can ease Mike Edwards more so into the role while Minkah comes in and starts right away at free safety, and you can move Minkah Fitzpatrick down to the slot cornerback as well. I think it would just work out better, so I think in this scenario here, you would have a safety room of Mike Edwards, Jordan Whitehead, Minkah Fitzpatrick, and then either Darian Stewart or Andrew Adams, whichever safety you want to keep there. That way you can still have Vernon Hargreaves and Carlton Davis as your starting cornerbacks. They still are doing a really, really good job, all things considered. And then your starting safeties can be Jordan Whitehead and Minkah Fitzpatrick. And then you can even move Minkah Fitzpatrick down into a slot cornerback role. Have Mike Edwards be your starting free safety for certain nickel packages and whatnot. And then your starting secondary in that scenario is Vernon Hargreaves III, Carlton Davis as the outside cornerbacks, Minkah Fitzpatrick as the slot cornerback, and then Mike Edwards and Jordan Whitehead as your starting safeties. That's amazing, in my opinion. That would be such a good young secondary that you would have for so many years. I mean, this seems like a no-brainer move, in my opinion. Now let's start talking about price tags on a trade deal for Minkah Fitzpatrick. Like I said, it's been reported that Miami Dolphins, they would want a first-round pick for Minkah Fitzpatrick, but they are willing to settle on a second-round draft pick. If I'm the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I do it. I know that Bruce Arians, he's in win now mode. Jason Light, he's also in win now mode because, you know, let's be honest, he's definitely had an up and down career up to this point with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So for a second round draft pick, I know that that's a pretty hefty price tag, but you're getting a former top 15 draft pick in last year's draft. It's not like it's like 4 years ago. That's like last year, okay? So with the phenomenal talent that you have in the scenario that I just gave, I really think you should go and make that deal. The Buccaneers have an advantage over other teams. This was first talked about by JC Cornell on Twitter, so shout out to you, JC. You're the best. But he talked about how the Buccaneers have an advantage over other teams because they just played in Thursday night football. All the other teams, they're playing in Sunday football. So the Buccaneers and the Panthers, technically the Panthers, yes, they have an advantage because they can talk to the Miami Dolphins early. Other teams, they're preparing for their games. Meanwhile, the Buccaneers and Panthers, they already played their games. Now they can kind of possibly focus all their attention on trade talks considering they all have the weekend off. Some other teams that have been involved in this Minkah Fitzpatrick trade is the Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, you're going to hear a lot of different kind of reports about, oh, Minkah Fitzpatrick going to Dallas is a done deal, or oh, Minkah Fitzpatrick going to Pittsburgh is already a done deal, and both teams are expected to get the move done on Monday. Apparently, both the Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers are trading for Minkah Fitzpatrick by Monday, but I really think that you need to consider the Buccaneers here. I know some Bucs media will say, I don't expect it, I wouldn't expect it, but it just makes too much sense to me making a trade like this. Like I said, you can have a nickel package that would look so good, and I know that you might, put down the development a little bit of a guy like a Sean Murphy Bunting or Jamel Dean or even an MJ Stewart, but to get a situation, to get a secondary where Vernon Hargreaves and Carlton Davis are your outside cornerbacks, Minkah Fitzpatrick is your slot cornerback, and Mike Edwards and Jordan Whitehead are your starting safeties, that's just too good, okay? That's just too good. And for a second-round draft pick to get such a versatile playmaker like Minkah Fitzpatrick, I think you do that deal. But guys, let me know what you think about this move down in the comment section below. Do you think the Buccaneers should or should not trade for Minkah Fitzpatrick? I want to hear your guys' opinions, so please let me know. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed this hypothetical scenario. I love doing these. It's always fun to talk about hypothetical scenarios. It's a blast. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed. But until the next video or the next live stream, I'll see you guys in the next one. Hope you all enjoyed. But until then, guys, and as always, goodbye for now. Hope you like the new jacket kind of thing, by the way. And go Bucs.